books. All right, ready?
Ready to go. Let me get see if my books are already. Which one are we doing? Oh, God.
Well, we're going to do what the order is Black Panther, U.S. Avengers, then Wolverine last.
All right, so I'll set up the Black Panther set up then. All right, now I'm ready.
All right, guys, welcome back to episode 26 of the Marvel Madness Comics. Yeah, let me start that over. Got distracted there. All right, guys, hello and welcome to the Marvel Madness Comics podcast. This is episode number 26 as we continue Legacy Month for you guys. As always, I am Brandon, and I am joined by Trevitt. Trevitt, how we doing, man?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
All right. So we got some Marvel books to talk to you about tonight, fresh after a long day of football for me and a long night of Lasertron last night that I did not do very well in. And I'm pretty sore about it. So
laser tag?
Yeah. My buddy, we went to like it's kind of like a paintball place, but you can play laser tag there. And that's what we did instead.
That's dope. We got a place like that.
Yeah, so I won one game, but the third one I didn't really care, and the first one I was getting used to everything. So it was the only game I did good was the one second one. So I'm salty about it. But anyway, we're here to talk a little Legacy with you guys, fill you in on some new books that came out this week with the Legacy banner on them. So if there's kind of some titles that you think we're ignoring or skipping this month, it's because we've tried to just bring you Legacy books. And the other ones that are kind of wrapping up their story points or whatever until they get to this point, we've kind of forgot about for right now until they hit this Legacy issue themselves. And there will be a whole group of new ones coming next month. So at least you got that to look forward to. But we wrap up the first month here with 3 books for you in our lineup tonight as we continue and strive to fulfill our mission of providing you the ins and outs of the Marvel comic book universe. In between talking books, we chit-chat about some of Marvel's latest news, possible rumors, titles, characters, fun facts, and all that go on under the general Earth Prime umbrella. We try to bring you a variety of titles each month in an effort to avoid any repetitiveness and an attempt to keep things fresh and informative for you guys, the listeners. So we got books divided up into no categories again this month because we're focusing on Legacy titles. So we got some first timers in the bunch this week. We got Black Panther we're going to cover. That's number 166. As that gets Legacy numbering. U.S. Avengers doesn't really get a Legacy number. It continues its series number, but it's a Legacy banner title, and that's going to be number 11. And then All New Wolverine, same thing, just continues its numbering. It's going to be the second issue, actually, of Legacy. Didn't one already come out this month? Is this turned bi-weekly all of a sudden, or no?
All New Wolverine? Yeah, it's bi-weekly right now.
Okay, so yeah, this is the second issue of All New Wolverine with the Legacy banner, and we didn't tell you about the first one, so we're going to fill you in on it here. And then there will be a bonus track at the end of the episode after the credits from our Marvel Minute that we did on the Weird Science DC Comics podcast, and that will be for X-Men Blue. So after everything's all done, if you guys want one more book, that'll be attached to the very end in our post-credit scene. So yeah, now that that's all out of the way, we'll tell you how we rate these books, and that is on our classic world-famous scale of buy, borrow, or forget it altogether. Buy it means, of course, buy that book right now. Borrow means get a code, those digital codes that come in Marvel books, handy enough, from one of your buddies who was sucker enough to buy it. Or forget it altogether means don't drop a dime on the book. But if you guys are looking to get a hold of us, we have 2 ways to do so. We got an email that's open for business. We're waiting for somebody to pop that email cherry. Besides Twitter, who likes to send us new friend notifications. And that is at Marvel Madness 0. Speaking of Twitter, our Twitter handle is at MadnessMarvel1. And you can, follow the links for our latest episodes on Podbean, or we like to retweet news, your weekly polls. We take pictures, you tag us in them, we retweet those. We put some digital codes up there for you guys to gobble up every once in a while. So that's what goes on over there. You can always holler at us there as well. The DMs are open for business. But now that we got the basic bits stuff covered and out of the way, we'll see if Trevitt was able to hunt down any news for us after this quick little jingle.
The answer is no.
No. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're back, and Trevitt just filled you in. The answer is no. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot going on this week. Boiling down to Halloween week, and I'm gonna have to take my daughter out Tuesday. There was like a free comic book day kind of thing going on, but like a spooky thing. I know my comic store participated in it, and a few other ones kind of had the option to. So, yeah, I know you're going to hear this after that day has already passed, but that went on this weekend, and that's about all the news I could think of, really. So, yeah, if you missed out on that, check your store on Wednesday. There's probably some leftover freebies or whatever, grab for the kids if you missed out this weekend and you're just hearing about it now. So, but that's all I got as far as news. Trevitt's got nothing. We got a new batch of legacy titles coming out next month. I tried to find an actual list of them, and I was not successful. So, yeah, we'll move on to our book section and kick things off with Trevitt's first book of the night, which is going to be Black Panther number 166.
Oh yeah.
You got the solicit up and everything. You ready to roll?
Sure do.
All right, let's get going here on a Black Panther legacy issue.
Black Panther 166 writer. Oh boy, I'm gonna butcher his name. Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah, I think I think you nailed it actually.
It looks like it's that way, but I saw him on Colbert one night, and it was pronounced completely or whatever. Different. Yeah, it didn't even sound close to that. Like, it was Ta, but like the Nisi thing was the way it was pronounced. I was like, "There's no way that's how it's fucking pronounced." Like I just couldn't believe it.
Was it like Neasi?
Neasi, Neisi, something like it was something. It was weird. I don't know whose fucking parents
probably got some accent marks in there or something that they don't show in the font they use on the lettering.
Yeah. I mean, and he's pure like American, no accent or anything. Like it's just weird to name your kid that. Like, fucking weird. Anyway, on pencils is Leonard Kirk, inks Leonard Kirk and Mark Deering, and Laura Martin on colors with VC's Joe Sabino doing letters. And the cover is by Brian Starfleet, who previously shared art duties with Chris Sprouse.
Yeah, that's when I was reading the book. He did definitely the first arc, and I think he did a few issues after that. But I loved his
art. His art's great.
Yeah, he does some. I've seen like YouTube videos and stuff of him doing some art pieces or whatever, and just watching him do it in the like. I think he was using chalks or maybe just some like little oil crayons or whatever. Just the way he was doing it was sweet as hell.
I think I've seen him do that on like Instagram, like just like little clips.
I know. I thought I saw it on some social media. It could have been Instagram or Facebook. I don't go on Facebook much, so I don't know why I think Facebook. But
I don't know. I never go on. I deleted mine like a month or two ago.
The only reason I do is for like I get like party invites and stuff. My buddy's girlfriend always sends them, and that's about all I use it for.
Oh yeah.
Family. My aunt will send party invites through it, so that's it.
I used to use it for like logging in sites to comment, but since I'm already logged in that way on my phone, it automatically lets me do it without Facebook, even though my Facebook doesn't exist anymore. So that's pretty cool. So I was like, all right, the only reason I was keeping it is gone. So fuck it.
Little incognito way to get around the system there.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, and I always liked Chris Sprouse too. He's a pretty good artist. He did some of the Multiversity with Grant Morrison. He did some beautiful work.
That art
anyway
was good in that series.
Yeah, it was really good. Really good. So here's a solicit. Claw stands supreme. Black Panther's greatest foe has returned. Ulysses Claw is back and ready for war. So exclamation point, but I just didn't feel like yelling it. Can T'Challa defeat the man who killed his father, all while his country struggles to its feet? And as war looms, Wakanda's gods have disappeared. Enter the originators. The former gods are back, but what are their intentions for a land that has forgotten them? That solicit actually does a really good. That's probably one of the best solicits I've read, explaining like past history of Black Panther. It explains stuff that went on in the past arc and the arc before that, and what's going on in this issue here. So it probably does fucking the most descriptive, like 2-3 sentences I've ever seen in a fucking solicit. The best one. So bear with me here because there was no fucking dialogue in this issue whatsoever. It was all images and narration. So I'm going to give it my best fucking shot. So we start off this issue with a flashback.
Who are these people?
No, go for it.
Kick things off here. No, I'm just wondering who the hell these two people are.
Oh, that's Ulysses Claw and his sister Julia.
I thought it was Claw, but then I'm like, this is too old timey looking for me.
Yeah.
To like just automatically assume that, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, yeah, now it makes a little more sense to me anyway.
So we start off this issue with a flashback at the Antwerp lunatic. It says lunatic asylum. Lunatic asylum. I'm like, what?
I don't think they're legally allowed to call it that anymore.
No, I don't think so either. So we're with Ulysses Claw, and he's visiting his sister Julia, and we get narration by Claw about how not a day passes by that he doesn't think about his sister and what she was like after she was lobotomized and how gut-wrenching it was for him. And then, that's pretty much it for the first page. So we hit up the next page, and we're at a secret AIM facility. They don't tell you it's an AIM facility, but you can... by the costumes of the characters.
Hard not to assume that with the dudes laying all over the floor in AIM costumes.
The first time I read this issue, I'll get to that at the end. I was going to say it kind of pissed me off a little bit, but the second time I was like, actually, it's kind of smart. But next page, we're at the AIM facility, and Claw is, it's in Alaska, and he's sonically transporting himself there to steal a metal called reverbium, and, he's killing everyone on the way. Which I'm assuming he's exploding their brains or making them kill themselves.
Yeah, it's like I think they mentioned it later. It's a pitch only certain people can hear, and he must be using some sort of different pitch that everyone can hear, and he's killing them with it. You know what I'm saying?
And he can also whisper in their minds, which is kind of fucking crazy. Which explains a lot of stuff that was going on in the past few issues of Black Panther that I didn't know about until this issue, which was pretty cool. But so he gets to the room where the stockpile of reverbium is and swirls around in a giant sonic vortex. And he kills all the AIM scientists. And it looks like, I don't know, it looks like he absorbs the reverbium. They don't tell you. But in the art, his sonic, whatever the fuck, it's kind of making the metal... I don't know if it's melting or...
Yeah, it's like sonicking around the metal too. So I assume he's like absorbing it. I don't know what else to think about that part.
Yeah, that's what I think. And it can, because, vibrations, sound is vibration, and he could probably, melt them and absorb it. So it could make sense. I mean, it's a comic book. But so while this is going on, we get more narration with him talking to his sister and the parallels between the voices that she heard in her head and his power, which pretty much makes him able to project his voice in the head of others. And the reverbium is what amplifies his power to make that possible. So, that's why he's there for the shit. And then the facility is destroyed. And the thing about that is I can't tell if he did it or if he made the AIM workers did it. The narration kind of made me think, because he's like, my suggestion, my voice has now bloomed in their heads, telling them what they must do, what they must give, which makes me think that, he's telling them that they have to blow this shit up. Even though, like, there's a...
Either way, they're dead inside of it, and he's walking out.
Yeah, either way, they're fucking dead. So next we're in Central. I love the art on the next page where he's standing in the rubble. That's probably like the best Leonard Kirk art I've seen in like the past 2 years, because I didn't really like his Wonder Wolverine stuff. But so next we're in Azania, the enemy nation of Wakanda, where Claw is sonically transporting himself again. From the narration and the art in the panels, we can tell that this is home base for his mission, and we got a rundown of his supervillain team. There is Zeke Stain and Sasha Hammer from Hammer and Industries, and Stain from before that, but he was also a big villain in Matt Fraction's run on Invincible Iron Man. We get Dr. Faustus from Hydra, and which I'm not sure if he left from Secret Empire, because he was one of the people in Secret Empire
Sharon
that went to
Carter,
Wakanda.
like, whooped his ass at the end.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I guess he just didn't get arrested. I don't know.
Maybe he didn't get it. He's always bailing at the last minute. Like he just did that. I was reading Brubaker's Captain America. He did the same thing. Like he bails at the last minute. Everybody gets rounded up and he gets away. Fucking. But he was in Wakanda in that, so maybe something happened where he wanted to go back. And then we also have
they didn't have he had diplomatic immunity or something. They're not allowed to extradite from Wakanda. Maybe I don't fucking know.
Or Azani. Or maybe Azania, where he is. And
then we have Zenzi, like, I'll take care of him. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And then we have Zenzi the Revealer, who is the bad guy in the first 12 issues of, well, I don't know, can't exactly. There were a bunch of bad guys in the first 12 issues of Black Panther, but she was one of the main ones. She can reach into
she's the one hearts. I remember from the first 6.
Yeah, she reaches into men's hearts and make them feel rage and shit like that. She was the one who was causing like the biggest revolt against T'Challa. And
I remember her being an early reveal in the beginning of the book.
Yeah, she's pretty badass. And that dude who controls nature, her partner in crime. So where the fuck was I? Oh yeah, so you get 2 tech experts and 2 people that can control other people, Faustus and Zenzi. So that's pretty interesting to see what's going to come in the future of that. So next we get more narration from Claw talking to his sister about how he became the man he is today. As the art shows us flashbacks of his origin story, he moves through the facility, and his cohorts are his team is using to work out his plan. Through the narration, we learn that Zeke Stain invented a machine called the Hand of Calliope that is going to help Claw achieve godlike sonic powers, which makes sense because Calliope was a fucking Greek mythology. It has to do with sound, like the sound of her voice, so that makes sense. So the Reverbium helps with this and makes his power focused, but it's temporary. So he's on the hunt for something better and can make it more permanent, and that's going to be vibranium. So obviously that's why he's in Wakanda. He's always after the vibranium. I think that.
Yeah. No.
I was reading.
He's using what's the other metal he used? Fuck.
Reverbium.
The Reverbium. Yeah, he's using the Reverbium to get to the vibranium, basically.
Yeah. Because so I mean, he mentions not wanting to like dissipate into air and like just be up in the cloud or whatever. But I mean, I've seen that happen to him before.
Almost like the Reverbium runs out, and if he gets a hold of the vibranium, it won't ever run out. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, it'll sustain him permanently, and with the machine that Stain is building. And I didn't realize this the first time I read it, and I didn't realize it the second time when I read it with notes. But there's something we get at the end, and on this page where it's showing like the top 3 panels versus origin story, the bottom left panel, you can see the outline of a person in a stasis tube, and you don't think much of it right now, but when you get to the end, you realize who that person is. Oh Jesus, orange soda. So so we get more flashbacks of Claw. I mean, there's a lot of art going on, and he just talks a lot about his sister and his power, and you can see Stain and everybody working on that shit and putting chips inside, but that's about it. And then we go full on flashback, his past when he was a child, and how he identifies with his sister because he has voices that guide him just like her. His father didn't understand. He was an abusive asshole, and his sister wasn't afraid to stand up to him and speak her mind, even though him and his mom were too afraid to. Because I mean, and it looks like one of those classic situations you'd see on TV with an abusive parent. Like she mounts off, he fucking punches her in the face, and the mom looks all shocked. But it says a lot. Like when you could look at these panels, and Kirk does a good job of like showing everything that's going on without, you don't even have to read the narration. You could just look at the everything that's happening panel by panel and the emotion on everybody's faces, and it comes across pretty clear. So next we head, this issue goes pretty quick too. So next we head to the rebel camp in Azania, where Claw tells us through narration that Wakanda is subsidizing a rebellion, and how his sister would have sympathy for the people, and how there must be a voice for justice. Blah, blah, blah. So then we get 3 pages of art that shows us battle with the rebellion, with both sides just killing each other. And then Claw shows up and destroys the Wakandan side. Just takes everybody out. He shows
Yeah,
up
he like
across the
kills them all
sky.
like he did the AIM people.
Yeah. He incapacitates them while he's transporting, which is kind of cool. Like he transports in like this radio wave across the sky, and then it opens this portal, and he comes out of the portal, which is pretty fucking badass. He seems to be a pretty cool villain. You don't really get to see Ulysses Claw in too many books in the past few years, especially. But you know, he's immortal and he's pretty badass. I remember him from Wade's Daredevil. But so he just destroys fucking everybody with his sonic blasts. And then we head over to another flashback. Yay! So we're in this flashback, and we see Claw's parents talking to a doctor, and he's giving him the options for lobotomy. And Claw goes into narration about how he has, been searching the soundscapes of time all these years, searching for his sister. And then we get her, she's sitting there in the tube I was talking about earlier, a couple pages ago on the bottom left panel. Somehow he found her.
Yeah, I don't know if is it just a hologram of her? I don't even know if it's a real person.
I think
because if you look in the middle panel, like she's all scratchy.
Because he's like, I have searched the soundscapes of time, listen to the harmony of years. All time, space is but a symphony to me. I was not searching for power, Julia. I was searching for you. And like, I don't know. Because they don't really explain it. Like, they don't really explain what she is, how he found her. I don't know the history of him, and
the story's confusing.
I don't know enough about him to know what he's able to do and pull from whatever like little universe or part of reality that he retreats to. So I have no clue what that is. If it's because she's in a stasis tube. So why is she in a stasis tube? I don't know. So now he's on the move again, and he's talking about how he is echoing through the hills of Wakanda, speaking to the people as he prepares to take in the vibranium and ascend to his godhood. So then we go to the last page, and we see Black Panther and Shuri, where we left them in the last issue, fighting this horde of freaks. So, to be continued. And I'm sure the next issues, this was an introduction to Claw and his motivation for what he's trying to do, which is really, really, it's cool and all, but it's something you would rather see. You would rather see it pick up with Black Panther and all what's going on with him, and then go back and forth between him and Claw instead of just going full on Claw. Although I do appreciate it. We get his full motivation, even his past from his childhood to know how he feels, why he is doing what he is doing. You know what I mean? Like, he's not doing it. We don't even know. Like, when he gets that vibranium, it's going to make him super powerful. But like he said, it's not about the power. It's probably about bringing his sister back in some shape, way, or form.
Yeah, that's what I kind of think too. I think it's both though. Like, he wants, but he'd bring his sister back, but he still wants to be this god dude,
Yeah, and the thing is, for in Black Panther in the past issues, him and Storm are going on these missions. They couldn't find. Jesus, my lights just flickered. I hope it doesn't go out. But so they would, the gods disappeared, and this guy, the guy we see on the second to the last page, that wizard-looking dude, or the witch doctor guy, is on his knees and he's praying. Like, he thinks that Claw is this guy named Safako or something like that. I forget how to pronounce the name. And for the past few issues, they were talking about this guy, and he was talking about how he's coming, he's on his way, and they're doing all these different things that happened in the past arc to lead to where we are now. And I was a little confused then because I didn't really know where we were going, and then this issue just completely took my confusion away from the past arc. So, it's for a first issue in a legacy and a first issue in a new arc, it's kind of hard to tell people to like, hey, this is a great jumping on point, even though it's tied to like the past arc, and you'd probably have to read that to understand it more, especially where Black Panther and Shuri are at the end of the book. So I gotta say, like, it's a borrow. I mean, I like it and I read it, but it's definitely a borrow because you don't want to go out and buy this and then you're like, fuck this,
Yeah.
you borrow it, you check it out, and then if it sparks your curiosity, you can go back and read the previous arc, which is like, I think it's only like 3 or 4 issues, maybe 3 issues, and then you check that out and you'll have like a full understanding of what's going on here, and then you could follow the story. But I wouldn't give it a buy. It's a borrow.
Yeah. This was, having not read this book since the first 6 issues. I think I might have read 7 too. Like I really had no idea what was going on half the time. I understood it was Claude. He was up to something, so that was enough for me to grasp, the point of what the issue was all about. But yeah, like, I'm definitely piggybacking off what you said as far as like, this is your first titled legacy issue to try to get people on a Black Panther comic book. And it was literally your main character, the title character, was in it on the very last page, and that was it. That was literally it. He was in it he doesn't say anything. He doesn't. So that was super strange. The art is awesome in the book. It looks great. The cover is cool.
Yeah.
If you got the lenticular, I'm sure that looks fabulous. But yeah, this is hard for me. I would say if you're interested in jumping on in Black Panther, to wait until this arc is over and then jump on at the next arc where they fill you in real quick on what happened here, and you can jump on at a better point going forward. This overall would be tough for me to even do borrow. I like it enough for the art, and it's a long form story that if you read it all, you probably get a whole bunch out of this issue. So I'm not going to say forget, because it wasn't like Iceman bad or Generation X bad level.
No way.
So, but yeah, it's not something I'm going to come back to and finish. I'll go with my idea of waiting for this story to finish and check out the next arc and see what's up.
Yeah.
Now I want the Black Panther space shit, and then when they
can't wait for that
shit, that's when I'll start reading the book. But yeah, I'll wait for this story to finish, and I want to see what's up with the Black Panther Empire they referenced in Marvel Legacy.
I think that's going to be next season, because the way Coates does it is seasons. Like the first 12, this is how he writes it. So like every 5 to 6 issues will be a story arc, but it's an overall long form story that lasts like a 12-issue season. That's what he calls it. So this season is going to end after this arc. So I'm figuring next season, the 3rd season, will be the space stuff, and I'm sure this is gonna like lead to it some way somehow. So should be cool, because he's always dropping stuff along the way.
Yeah,
for the next arc.
Yeah, that's what I want to get to, and when they start addressing that, I'll peek back in. But yeah, we're gonna put a quick pause in here, and we're gonna then get off to U.S. Avengers after this quick little break.